Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to Movie Monday. Christmas tree is now gone. Sad times, sad times. So yeah, this week is going to be something I've been talking about for probably years. I've mentioned in a lot of videos that I'm going to watch this movie. I had it in my Blu-ray collection for a long time. I never saw it. The only reason I saw it, no, sorry, I didn't even see it. The only reason I had it was because I went to buy Aquaman on Blu-ray a while ago, obviously. And it was on sale. It was on sale like £15 on Blu-ray, which at the time was very cheap because 4K wasn't really like as big back then, and £15 was like a standard Blu-ray price. It still is now. So like £15, one of them new movie. I was like, just like, yeah, sure. But I saw the other movies and I thought, there's nothing here that I find interesting enough. So I just looked at things that I haven't seen before, and I found Prisoners. I'm just like, Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal. It's about a missing kid, and they're trying to find this kid. Like he loses his daughter, and he tracks down the person who kidnapped her himself. So it's like Taken, but a little bit different. So I thought, hey, that sounds interesting. It sounds tense. I should pick it up, and I'll watch it at some point. Haven't watched it yet, and it was years ago that I bought that Blu-ray. I got it because it was on sale, and then I sold it because I was getting rid of a lot of my Blu-rays because I was getting 4K upgrades. I just decided to sell anything I wasn't watching, and Prisoners was one of those Blu-rays. I never watched it, so I had a Blu-ray that I'd never used, never took it out the case, only took the plastic off, and I sold it without using it. Yeah. So luckily it's on Netflix. I have Netflix temporarily to watch some shows that it's just more convenient, isn't it? It's just more convenient. I got the cheapest version of it, so no HD, but it's still good enough to watch on my monitor. So yeah, it is on Netflix, and I'm going to finally watch it. I promised myself and I promised viewers on the channel that I would finally watch the movie Prisoners. It's not on the Blu-ray that I had because it's gone now, but I'm finally watching it. It's on Netflix, thankfully. It's 2.5 hours long, so quite a long movie, but I'll be looking forward to this. It's also got Viola Davis, so it seems like quite a dark movie, but yeah, let's see what we think. And it's over. All I gotta say is wow. So that movie was good. It was very much a drama. It was very different to Taken, even though it had Taken vibes, but it takes place inside a town, and Hugh Jackman plays Keller, who is the father of one of the girls that goes missing. So there's 2 kids that go missing, and they're both friends. Both families are friends, and the other family is, well, Terrence Howard is the father and Viola Davis is the mother. It's got a really good cast. The acting is great as well. Maria Bello is Hugh Jackman's character's wife in this. Paul Dano is in this as one of the suspects. What's the other guy's name? The guy from Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad, he's in this. Bob Taylor is his name. I don't know if that was his name. Dylan, well, the guy from 13 Reasons Why, the Clay Jensen guy, he's in this as well. That's just some of the names. Obviously Jake Gyllenhaal's in this. He plays a detective, trying to find out about the case. So the kids, you see how the kids go missing. You don't see how they go missing. Like, they just go missing. It just happens. So they go outside to play, and then the next thing you know, they're gone. But they start to draw, like, suspects from, there was a caravan parked outside and there was someone in there, and this guy is an adult but he has the mental age of a 10-year-old. And then there's a second suspect who also seems like very childish, but they both seem to reference some sort of maze, so in some way they're connected. But I'm thinking, like, they found 2 adults that have the mental age of children. Why is that? Is that like some sort of coincidence in a movie where children go missing? Like, you could start to join the dots, maybe. Like, you don't get to join the dots on who it is, but when you find out who it is, it's a pretty mad twist. It's a pretty mad twist. Jake Gyllenhaal is a detective who, in this movie, he plays a detective who always gets his man, always finds out what happened. He's successful in terms of, like, investigating. So you'd think he'd be good at, finding out what happened. But when you actually find out what's happened, it's someone that everybody in the movie least expects. It's someone that I least expect. I think some people could probably figure it out, because, like, it's one of those whodunit sort of scenarios. Like, you don't know who did it, but it could be anyone. So, like, when in movies like that, you can suspect someone random that you wouldn't normally expect. You kind of think outside the box. So maybe some people could probably figure it out, but I could not figure it out. And when I found out who it was, I'm just like, oh, okay. So the kids, they got kidnapped and they were held captive. We didn't find this out till near the end of the movie. Like, we had no idea where they were. As far as everyone was concerned, they were either missing or dead. Hugh Jackman took it a little far. One of the suspects, played by Paul Dano, he kidnapped him, locked him in one of his old houses, and tortured him throughout the movie, trying to get information out of it. But he's a child, so half the time doesn't understand what is going on, and he's a quiet child. He doesn't talk much, so that's another thing as well. No matter how much he gets tortured, he doesn't talk much. But Hugh Jackman is convinced, because the guy said something to him. The guy said, I only heard their screams when they were gone. Why would he say that to him? But the problem is, Hugh Jackman's character, named Keller, I think, he's the only guy who heard him say that. So, you know, people think he's crazy, etc. The other family, husband and wife, they find out what he's doing to that guy, and they think it's wrong. And also, their kid's missing as well. There's 2 kids missing, but 2 girls from each of their families is missing. Then you find out who it is, and you find out it's someone that's been kidnapping people for a while. And that kind of explains how you find 2 suspects that both act like children. Because I mean, I don't think it was explained in the movie, but I feel like they were kidnapped, and then they were kept until they were older. They were just kept there. And there was an article at the end where the guy who was tortured the whole movie, he was innocent the whole time, but he knew about the kids, he knew about the girls. He just didn't know how to express that he knew. He didn't want to, you know, tell them who did it, even though he knew the whole time. But because he was basically a child, he didn't understand how to communicate that. But at the end there's an article, and it says he's reunited with his family. So I assume that's what it is. I assume they kidnap the kids and then they keep them. I don't even know what's going on. They either keep them or kill them. I don't know. I feel like I need to rewatch for some of the details, but it's really messed up what the kidnappers do. That's all I will say. But when you find out who's really behind it, it will shock you. It will shock you. It might not be who you expect it to be. But yeah, what happens is the killer takes down Hugh Jackman and traps him somewhere. And at this point in time, no one knows he's trapped there. The only person that knows is the killer. And the killer, at the end... Well, let's just say the killer at the end is in a position where they can't speak anymore. They can't communicate where Hugh Jackman is. So Hugh Jackman is trapped somewhere, and they don't know where he is. He's missing, and they also found out that he was torturing someone. So he's probably going to jail when they do find him. And at the end of the movie, the very last scene, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's standing there in the garden of the killer, and they're trying to find Hugh Jackman. They're trying to find him. Then you hear some whistling. You hear some faint whistling coming from where he was trapped. And Gyllenhaal turns around. He's like, nah, it's nothing. Turns around again. Nah, it's nothing. But the whistling gets louder. Then he turns around. Movie ends. So we don't even know whether Hugh Jackman survives or not. That's left as a cliffhanger. Apparently they actually, I googled it just now, apparently they actually filmed a scenario where he finds him. He doesn't say they're dead or alive though, but yeah, he turns around at the end, hears a whistle, and the movie cuts. So you don't know whether the father survived or not, but the kids do survive. So that's all I will say. Obviously I've said spoilers, so I could just, you know, go into it. The killer is dead, first of all. Jake Gyllenhaal got, like, pretty much what happened was Hugh Jackman. What happened was one of the kids escaped, but it wasn't the daughter of Hugh Jackman. It was the other daughter that escaped, and she basically, like, in her own words, said where the other kid was. So Hugh Jackman's like, it's at that person's house. That person's the killer. When he realizes, he runs from the hospital. And Jake Gyllenhaal sees him, and he just immediately thinks, oh, he might be the killer. So Jake Gyllenhaal, who went to that old house before where he was torturing someone. He went there thinking Hugh Jackman went there, and he found the kid that was being tortured, but Hugh Jackman wasn't going there. He was going to the killer's house. And the killer took him out and locked him somewhere. So at that point, Jake Gyllenhaal was sent to the killer's. He was sent to the killer's house, right? Because the person being tortured was connected to the killer, so he had to go to the killer's house to notify this person. And then he finds the killer with the other kid, with Hugh Jackman's kid, and he kills her, but she shoots him. So while he's almost dying, he drives to the hospital with the kid, saving the kid and himself. And eventually it leads to, obviously, Hugh Jackman, when they find him, they want to put him in jail because he did torture someone. He still did something wrong, and he was obviously wrong because he tortured the wrong person. He didn't even torture the actual killer. So it's understandable why he would go to jail for it. You can understand in a way why he did what he did, but you can understand why. But yeah, at the end, like Jake Gyllenhaal outside the killer's house, he hears whistling. He turns around. We don't know who it's coming from. We don't know if it's Hugh Jackman alive. We don't know, but he turns around, the movie ends. So annoying, so annoying. But yeah, a very well made story. It was brutal, it was sad, and the acting was incredible. So yeah, it was worth the wait. Let's just put it that way, even though I didn't watch it on Blu-ray. But yeah, there we go. That is this week's Movie Monday. Next week I think will be Ultraman again. We'll see. It depends on. I guess I'll ask which is the best Ultraman movie to watch. But yeah, I look forward to doing. I think the next Hollywood movie I do is probably Alien. I want to start watching Alien Predator movies because I've never seen them before. So that's a new franchise to begin with. Anyway, this movie for me was a 8.5 out of 10. Story-wise, it's very messed up, but story-wise it was very good, very dark, very brutal, but it worked. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see ya.